Columns F, G and H, we're going to use our formulas to calculate. If I click down in here in cell F7 for a moment, you'll see that I've already input a formula to calculate the average speed for this trip here. We've travelled 150 kilometres and it's taken us 1.5 hours to complete that journey. Given that the speed is equal to the distance divided by the time, you can see that the formula we've used here is a quotient formula which divides D7, 150, by E7, 1.5 to give us an average speed of 100 kilometres per hour. If we go down to, let's say, day number 5, we've travelled a distance of 234 kilometres. Let's say, for instance, that it's taken an average time of 3 hours. To calculate the average speed, similar to what we did above, we go up into here, click on More Functions, scroll this out of the way so we can see a little bit easier. Again, we wanted a quotient formula, so we'll click OK. The numerator was D11, so we type in D11 and we're going to divide that by E11. So that gives us our 234 kilometres divided by our 3 hours at an average speed of 78 kilometres per hour. The next column here is to calculate the amount of fuel used for that journey. On the website I chose a medium-sized car which said that we used 10 litres of fuel for every 100 kilometres that we travel. So that's a fairly simple calculation. 150 kilometres, we said that we used 10 litres in 100 kilometres, so therefore we'd use 15 litres for the 150 kilometre journey. But to use formulas to do this, we go up into AutoSum. We want to go to More Functions. We're going to use a product formula here. We click OK, and what we're going to do is to multiply cell D7, and we're going to multiply it by 0.1 because we said that we're using 10 litres of fuel for every 100 kilometres that we travel. We click in here and we've got our 15 litres of fuel that we used. I could again go in and put that formula here, but a quick way of doing this is when we click on that cell that has a formula in, we notice that there is a little square, a little bold square at the bottom. If we grab that little square and drag it down, that will make sure that that formula is calculated for all of the trips that are shown below. So for this trip here, you can see that we calculated, we used 23.4 litres, 5.5 litres. We used no litres here because we didn't actually travel on that day. The total cost of the fuel over in column H already been done. Again, we won't go through the procedure, but to calculate that, what we've done is multiplied G7, so the 15 litres that we used multiplied by $1.60 to give us $24 of fuel. Again, we could drag that down, and again, there are our amounts for the day. I'll just delete that little bit because it will interfere with what I've done down the bottom here. Here are some sample amounts that I put in earlier. So let's say we use $65 of fuel this day, $52 this day, $89 this day. Gives us a grand total of 206. If I just delete that formula out for a moment and go back and highlight those three amounts, a quick way to do that instead of adding up in your head again is to use our AutoSum function, and again straight away the total for that column is written in for us.